China's imposition of a controversial national security law in Hong Kong has prompted widespread protests across the former British colony, and now a response from Australia.
For skilled and graduate visa holders, we will be extending visas by 5 years from today, with a pathway to permanent residency at the end of those 5 years.
That's a pathway for the 10,000 or so students and skilled workers from Hong Kong in Australia, and follows similar moves in the UK announced by Prime Minister Boris Johnson. China is Australia's biggest trade partner and is infuriated.
严重违反国际法。
The comments and measures from the Australian side constitute grave violations of international law and basic international relations, as well as gross interference in China's domestic affairs. It will not work on China. We condemn the comments and reserve the right to take further actions in response. All consequences will be borne by the Australian side.
Canberra is also seeking to entice businesses in Hong Kong to move their operations to Australia.
And we know that many individuals now might be looking elsewhere, because they do want to be in a freer country, they want to be in a democratic country, and we want to make it attractive for that super talent to consider Australia, and that's what these measures do.
Similar to Canada, Australia will also suspend its extradition treaty with Hong Kong, saying its concerned people could now be sent to mainland China. Human rights groups had been hoping asylum seekers would be included.
If the government is taking steps to protect those fearing persecution, no matter where they're from in the world, that is a great thing that Australia should be doing. And I'd really welcome to see that extended to other nationals that are in our country right now seeking that same protection from persecution.
The last time a similar move was made was in 1989, after the massacre of pro-democracy protesters in Tiananmen Square, when Australia offered 42,000 Chinese students asylum.
Just hours before the announcement, Australia updated its travel advice for Hong Kong, warning Australians could be at increased risk of detention on vaguely defined national security grounds. It says there could also be a similar risk on the mainland.
Tensions have been rising between the two nations since Australia called for an inquiry into the origins of the coronavirus. Beijing has imposed heavy tariffs on barley from Australia and banned some of its beef exports, leaving many Australian business people nervous about what it might do next. Nicola, Gage, Al Jazeera, Sydney.